Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Ilana Earhart, and I'm the business librarian for Jackson County Library Services. I provide instruction and collaboration with digital services at the library for businesses, and I also can answer your questions if you have any questions about business and how the library can help you. My email address is in the chat, and let's go over to Nicole Vukcevic, and she will introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole, and I am a digital services associate with Jackson County Library. And my job is essentially to help patrons connect with technology, learn how to use it, and facilitate using library resources to better self-educate on the use of various forms of technology. And it's nice to be here today.
Okay, I'm going to talk about best practices. So first, you want to consider your sound and lighting. So when you test out your computer, make sure that your mic is able to receive sound, but also the other end of that is try to eliminate the noises that are going on around you in your home or your apartment or your workspace. Things such as pets, maybe that you have children or grandchildren, maybe you are in a shared workspace where someone else doesn't know that you are trying to present and they begin a loud conversation or try to talk with you. So they would need to know that you're in that space. Also, your background. So right now, I've made sure that my background is clear of clutter, and I wanted to do something that's a little bit more personable. So I'm here on my couch, and you can see the couple of blankets back here. I'm comfortable with that, but some people may be joining meetings where it feels a little bit more professional, and maybe you are in any type of meeting that's a little bit high stakes. Then you might want to have a background like Nicole, where your background is muted, there's not much there, and the focus is entirely on you as the speaker. So also, you want to consider how to dress. There's a joke you may have heard, if you're going to a Zoom conference, remember to wear pants. So other than that, just be sure to wear the clothing that your clients, your customers, anyone you would engage with on a regular basis would expect to see you in. And it's pretty much as simple as that. If you want to show a little bit more personality, you could wear a little bit brighter colors, just to add a little bit more there for folks who don't get to see you in person. Also, you want to have control of your attendees. So what I'm going to do right now is share my screen, and I'm going to show you something that you will want to see in order to be able to control your attendees' participation. And I will show you later how to share your screen, so don't worry about that. Right now, you're seeing my planning sheet, which that could be useful for you as well to know that I have this planning Google Doc set up in order to facilitate. This is what I wanted to go into. And when I go into present mode, you're going to see this photo that I took. It's a screen cap I took a few weeks ago. And at the top where you see the gallery of all the people who are attending, you can hover over each thumbnail and see that there's the option to mute, and there's a 3-dot option. Associated with those 3 dots, when you click on them, you're going to see pin video, spotlight video, make host, make co-host, allow record, remove, rename, put in waiting room. So all of these options are going to be important for you to know about, and they each have a different function. So if you want to pin a video, that means that you personally will be focusing on seeing that person's camera feed. If you spotlight video, that means that everybody in the meeting is going to see only their camera footage, their feedback. So also, if you make someone a host, that means that maybe you needed to leave the meeting early and you're handing over the mic to somebody else so that they become the host. You could have a co-host, and that means that you share all of the control privileges with the person that you made the co-host. You can allow someone to record, so that way they can control when something is recording, for how long. You could remove somebody from the room. So if all of your other attempts to control what is called Zoom bombing have failed, you also have the option to remove people from the room. Another reason you might want to remove someone is if they are not following the procedures of your meeting, or if they're being disruptive. You have ultimate control over what happens in your meeting. You can rename people. So Nicole and I renamed ourselves before everyone entered, because we wanted you to know that we weren't just public services, but that we had names. And you can put someone in a waiting room. An example of why you might put somebody back in a waiting room is maybe you admitted someone and you weren't quite ready, so you let them know, hey, you're going to be back in the waiting room for a little bit, just chill there. We will bring you back in just a couple minutes. Another reason you might do that is if someone has joined and they're going to present, but not right now, and they have a little bit more prep work to do. So you put them in the waiting room, and when it's their turn to take some time presenting, you can let them back in. So there's a few different reasons why you might want to do that. I am currently going to stop sharing. There we go, and we're back. So that's how you set your controls. Also, we are going to go into how to schedule a meeting, and when we do that, I'll show you some of the controls you have over protection of your meeting so that you don't end up with a lot of extra attendees. So we will go over that soon. But for right now, when you're facilitating, just as we did when we opened up, you want to set expectations. So share your agenda in the meeting, at the top of the meeting. Also, if you have an opportunity to do so, send your agenda via email to the people who will be attending so that they know what to expect. So when you open the space and everybody is present, make sure to introduce yourself and your co-facilitators. And it helps if you can say what your experience is that makes you a relevant speaker on the topic. So Peter, I imagine that you have, you and your partner have both spoken in front of crowds and needed to say, well, we have experience over X number of years with the Southern Oregon Historical Society, and this is how we know what we know. You would still want to do that on a Zoom conference. So you also want to make sure people understand who is speaking about what. So we introduced at the top that I would share information about Zoom, and that Nicole is our digital services associate who is here with us today. And so it became clear who was going to speak and who was going to be there to support you. And okay, so that's it for a lot of like the verbal instruction about Zoom and how to do that. We're going to do a little bit more of the digital aspect and show you button clicking and all of that type of thing. So I am going to show you a little bit about how to schedule a meeting and also how to share your screen. Okay, so let's go into, I'll share my screen and we'll talk about how to schedule. And I'm actually going to, okay, so right now what you're seeing is the web client, what is called a web client for Zoom. And that it's called that because there are two components. Right now, the way we're speaking is that we're using the app on our computer for Zoom. The web client means that's the website where you go to schedule your meetings, where you go to do your different configurations, in your settings. This is the main control panel, basically, for how you control that app. So right now we're going to go into, schedule a meeting. And we are going to take a look at everything that you need to do to schedule a meeting and send it out to your participants. So, just those pop-ups. Okay, you'll want to say your topic and a description underneath that. Say exactly when it's going to happen. So Zoom auto-populates the present date and approximate time. So you want to make sure that you take control of that and say what the date is and time is when your meeting is going to happen, how long it will be, what time zone it's going to be in. That time zone is going to be important because maybe you're talking with people on the East Coast. They are 3 hours ahead of us. And if you want to require registration, you can do that. The meeting ID is automatically generated, which is a little bit easier. You can have a meeting password, which Zoom does require, and it's required automatically as part of their updates in order to protect their customers. Because when you don't require a password, anyone can use the link to join. Also, you want to protect your link and your password in different ways, like sending out an email to people who will participate, and only that email is where they're going to see how to join, which is what happened with the library. You received an email that showed you exactly what to do to get to this meeting. And that was not available to anyone else who did not register. You'll have control over here, over the video, and when people sign on, is the host video going to be on? Is the participant video going to be on? Audio, the same. You can choose whether people can join from telephone, computer audio, or both. It's easiest if you just let it stay in its automatic selection of both, because it's hard to know who is going to need what type of support. So your meeting options, it's good to look at these and be pretty careful about them. So enable join before host. I would suggest don't enable that unless you have a completely social group that doesn't really have a lot of structure. Because you don't want your participants to join early and they're confused about when you're going to show up and they are all talking about, well, didn't that email get sent? Just eliminate all that conversation and control the meeting by enabling the waiting room, where you can let people in as you're ready for them and let them have the information that you need to share with them to have a functional meeting. You can also use breakout rooms. You can pre-assign. I can go in a little bit about that, but we will be watching a video at the end of our time together to show you exactly how that works. And you can record the meeting automatically. If you know that this particular meeting that you're scheduling will need to be recorded and it doesn't matter when it starts, go ahead and click that. I chose not to because I wanted to give you all an opportunity to get settled, to see exactly what was going on in the room and get oriented before we started recording. Then you click save. And after you click save, you're going to be able to copy the meeting information and share that with your participants. Okay, so let's go into just a short little bit about mobile versus desktop. If you have the Zoom app on your phone, it's possible that that you could want to start on your phone as opposed to your desktop or your laptop, and that's totally okay. If you are at some point a participant and you don't want to be invited via phone, make sure to turn your phone on to airplane mode so that that doesn't happen, and you have more control over making sure that you're using your desktop or your laptop to join the meeting. But as the host, you're automatically going to have control over that. Okay. So we're going to get into a little bit more screen sharing. So I'll show you how to find your record button, how to find your camera and your microphone buttons, how to find screen share and chat. So let's go back to that. So what I'm going to do now is come back up to here. It's sometimes important to be really careful about how your computer reacts to your mouse. So if you find that there are a lot of automatic pop-ups, be careful about that. That's what I'm experiencing right now. Okay, so we saw this. Let's go here. So your screen share button is right down here. It's your green button, and to the right-hand side of that green button is an up arrow, a little caret that gives you some additional options. And when you take a look at that caret, you're going to see right over here all of your options. You can have one participant share at a time, multiple participants can share simultaneously, or you can go into your advanced options. And under your advanced options, you can say how many participants can share at the same time. You can see who can share and who can start sharing when someone else is already sharing. So that might be an option that you can enable or want to enable at some point. Okay, and when I'm screen sharing, this is what pops up after selecting the screen share button. It's going to give me the option of what screen I want to share. So do I want to share my desktop? Do I want to share Google Chrome? Because that's the web browser that I'm using currently. If I had PowerPoint open, then it would ask if I wanted to open that PowerPoint and share it. And then there's your whiteboard, your iPhone, and your iPhone or iPad via cable or AirPlay. So this is all of the options that you're going to want to take a look at as you start exploring your screen share options. One little quirk that I found is that if you wanted to share something and you don't have that window active or open in some way, Zoom will not recognize it. It will not see it and won't give you access to it. So for example, if you wanted to share a PowerPoint, you want to go ahead and make sure that that PowerPoint is open so that you can select it in your screen sharing options. Okay. Then, just as a little reminder, if we go back down here, you're going to see all of these options down here. Um, so you can share a reaction, you can record, there's your recording button, screen share as we just talked about, there's your chat. So if your chat window isn't open, that is the button that you need to press. That's how many participants, and if you click on participants, you can see a list of all of them, and that'll be on the right-hand panel. And we can go into security a little bit more if you want to talk one-on-one later. So let's go ahead and go back. Okay. So great. We're right at a point where we can answer a few questions before going into how breakout sessions work. So does anybody have any questions in the chat? Does Zoom generate the password? Yes, Zoom generates its own password. So are there any other questions? No? Okay, so this is the part where we get to go ahead and look at a video from Zoom that shows how to do breakout rooms. And if anybody has any trouble hearing, please let me know. So we'll go back into screen share. I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Hey everyone, Farah from Zoom here. On this brief video, we're going to show you how you can leverage our breakout room feature to take a large meeting or virtual classroom and split it up into smaller groups or sessions. You'll see that I have already enabled the breakout room feature, which you can find in your settings along the bottom. And that breakout room button will actually be right here. This is a button that only your hosts or co-hosts will be able to see. And right now we don't have a co-host in the session. If I manage my participants, I can hover over Catherine, for example, to make her a co-host. So she'll see this button now as well. When we're ready to split the group into smaller sessions, I can easily click this button to get a pop-up window asking me how many rooms I'd like to assign out and how many participants per room. For this example, it's recommending, since there are 6 people, we can split it up into 2 rooms. I can do this automatically or manually. So if we click on the automatic button, it'll generate those breakout rooms for us. Certainly if there's anyone I want to swap out, maybe I want to move Michael to the other room, I can exchange him for a different participant. Once I'm ready to open all rooms, I'll click this Open All Rooms button, and our participants will be able to join the sessions that we've created for them. So we'll slowly see those people join. One thing that's really important to note is that as a host or a co-host, you can actually hop between the different rooms to talk to the participants. You can see here I have the Join button. Now everybody's left to go to the rooms. I can broadcast a message to everybody and say, wrapping up in 1 minute. And this will broadcast the message, and then I can close the rooms, which gives them a 1-minute timer to rejoin our session. We'll give everybody a second to rejoin, and I'll show you 1 or 2 additional features with breakout rooms. There we go. We can kind of see everybody kind of popping back in. Now everybody's rejoined the main session. You'll see that I have the opportunity to reopen these rooms again, which is really great. If you have a very long session or a very long virtual class, you can split into these virtual smaller groups as often as you'd like. And the additional options here will allow you to automatically close breakout rooms after a specified amount of time. You can also change the countdown timer to be 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you like. I'll show you a setting where you can also pre-assign folks to be in your breakout room before the classroom starts. You'll want to navigate over to the class that's already been created in your Zoom portal. Under the Meetings tab, you can find your meeting. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, you'll see if we open this to re-edit it, I have the opportunity to pre-assign a breakout room here, and I can create the rooms and upload a CSV with all of my participants in advance so that their names are already populated in the room when I start the session. That's basically how you can run breakout rooms. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any additional questions, please visit us at support.zoom.us. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
Okay, so that was a really quick rundown. And I can show you how that works by like putting everybody into breakout rooms. So right now you can't see it, but I am doing the same thing. I'm clicking the 4 boxes symbol and it says assign 3 participants to 2 rooms. So one of you will be all alone, but I'll come and visit you. Open all rooms. So you're gonna go ahead and be divided out into that. Okay, in just a few seconds. Yep, there we go. Now we've got everybody back. Okay, so I'll do a recap of what just happened. So I clicked our breakout rooms button, which is 4 squares all together at the bottom. It gave me the option to automatically make 2 rooms that it suggested or create my own rooms. And so I went ahead with automatic and it separated it out into 2 rooms. And I had the option to, again, click that breakout rooms button. And that gave me the option to see both rooms and choose which one I wanted to join. So I joined one room for about 30 seconds and said hi and let you know that this is where you can remind people of what their job is, what the discussion is really about, and how far other groups are in progress if you need to do that. And then I popped out and went back into another room, basically did the same thing. And then once I left both rooms, I was able to broadcast that we're coming back into the main room in 1 minute, and sent the timer for 1 minute where you could either join yourselves or wait for that 1 minute timer to run out and then you would be back in the main room. So that's basically what just happened. Okay, so that's everything that we have for today. I wanted to let you know before we head out that there are a few different things that you can do with the library that you may not have known about. With me, you can book a librarian. I can spend time with you over Zoom currently because of the COVID-19 crisis. I can talk with you over Zoom and answer any questions you have about business and business-related topics. Also, I have programs coming up over the summer that are in collaboration with digital services. That means Nicole, as well as another person you may not have met. Her name is Laura. She's not in this meeting, but you will meet her if you attend the summer programs where we talk about social media and how to use social media. We will talk about Google Drive and how to use it. So Nicole, do you want to go over some of the services and remind folks of what they have access to through digital services?
Yes, digital services actually, normally when COVID-19 isn't shutting everything down, a big feature of digital services is classes like these that would actually take place physically in a library, and also one-on-one based help with appointments at various branches to assist patrons in learning how to use various technology that they have. We also are able to provide tech support via email and phone currently.
Okay, and if you want to get in touch with Nicole for any reason to get support, remember that email address that we shared with you at the top of the chat. So with that, I will tell you how I'm going to close the meeting out. At the bottom right-hand side of the screen that I see, where you saw that you'll have access to screen share, to chat, seeing your participants, that same bar that pops up when you hover as the facilitator, you're going to see on the right-hand side end. And you want to end for all participants. You want to have control over the meeting when it begins and when it ends. So I'm going to go ahead and end for all. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Nicole, for being So such a wonderful colleague, and we will have the programs in the summer, and you'll see all of us again there if you register at jcls.org.